Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Silk, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Tom.
Hi, everyone. We've got Tom with us again. He's decided to grace us with his opinions again. We are all happy to have him back, and let's get right into it. How is everybody doing? How are you doing today, Tom?
I'm alright. Just got back from a bunch of travels.
Oh, where'd you go?
I was up in the Pacific Northwest in Portland, Oregon for my niece's wedding.
Oh, okay. Is that in Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
How was that? How was that up there?
Dude, I might have to move there. It's gorgeous. They have a giant gaming store downtown called the Mox, and it was like, oh, I want to play here.
What was it called?
The Mox. It's massive. It had like a magic card chandelier in one of them. I don't know, man. It was just cool.
Okay. Awesome. I've always been a fan of the Pacific Northwest, but I don't think I've got it in me to move across the country.
Oh man, I met Bigfoot. It was great.
Well, how are you doing today, Steven?
I'm fine. Very lazy day. We had a busy work week, so I am very much taking it easy today. So.
Okay. All right. That's good. How about you, Brad? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I painted 3 of your models today, Fred.
Yay! Everyone out there, Brad has been painting my models on commission, so I'm going to have painted models for once in my life. It's amazing.
Fred, because I got 3 done today, I'm pretty confident I'm going to get the other 2 done by Saturday. So
excellent.
You'll have a fully painted list.
I can't wait. I can't wait to have a fully painted list of something. The last time this happened was Guild Ball, because you painted my Guild Ball models.
True.
You painted my cooks.
Yep. They looked pretty good too. If I say so myself.
Yeah. they indeed were. All right. Let's talk about MCP related stuff. So I don't think there's any news to talk about. They did their big data dump the past 2 weeks ago. And so instead, let's talk about upcoming tournaments. Coming up later this week on the 27th of September, there is a tournament at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is Bryce's shop. This is going to be a big Appalachian Cup qualifier, and it is an LVO qualifier. So if you are interested in going to LVO, all you have to do is win this, and you can go. That is going to be a steep do, because this is going to be a tough competition, but I am excited to participate. Then... Oh, sorry, so say that again?
I gotta figure out what list I'm gonna bring.
Oh, is it not the Inhumans? Or do you have something else cooking?
I mean, it's tough for me to play the same thing twice, so we'll find out.
You and I are such opposites. I cannot... Like, if I change factions, I'm going to be useless for months. Every time I change affiliations.
Fred, that's nothing.
Are you about to say what's different than...
No.
Like, it's not months, it's...
I'm going to say that yours isn't as bad as mine. I have basically been playing Apocalypse for the last year and just got to 50 games, tournament games. So... That sounds like Tom's worst nightmare.
That's amazing. I could not imagine.
I played...
Brad has to play a mutant affiliation.
I do have
to.
That
is Brad. Yeah.
I played 5 games of Apocalypse this week.
Holy moly. You played 5 more games than I did.
I played 6 total games.
You played 5.5 more games than I did, I should say.
Oh, yeah, you did play half a game, didn't you?
I did. I played half a game. All right. Coming up on October the 4th is a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics. That's a little early in the month for our Lost Legion tournament. But the reason for that is because on our normal weekend, on the 18th of October, is Second Wind, and I myself and Brad are planning to go. And so hopefully I will see everyone out there who's listening at Second Wind, because you should all be trying to attend. It is a great event. It's a ton of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. All right, those are the events that I currently have that are coming up. Let's move on to games that we've played recently. Hey, Brad, you have a lot of games to talk about.
I sure do.
Do you want to do it quick or like do the highlights?
Yeah, okay. So I played 5 games with Apocalypse. I played one on Thursday against Memphis, and I won that game. Then I played New Mutants against Andrew, because Andrew wanted to try out some of the new stuff, and he hasn't played in a while, so I played something for fun. And I kind of miss playing New Mutants with Sentinel Prime, because that's fun.
Oh God,
that's
such weird tech. I mean, it works. I've seen you put it on the table, but it's weird.
This is the only game I lost this week, was against Andrew's Spider People. He played Amazing as his leader, 2099 Ultimate Spider-Ham Spider-Man Noir.
So he was almost entirely new stuff, except for Amazing.
Yeah, except for Amazing. And it was really good. Like, really, really good. All of those new models are great. He got Spider-Man Noir's card off, no problem. We were playing Intrusions. And so every time one of my guys went through a portal, he got a token. And he set up to daze a model very well with Spider-Man Noir and got the card off.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that is an easy one to get, because that seems like a fun card. I like the cards that are kind of a mini game.
Yeah, that one's absolutely worth it. 2 victory points is worth playing that game, and it's not that hard to do. It's really not.
Hey, we have not actually covered Spider-Man Noir yet.
Yeah.
Let me do a quick tag search for that card while you continue to talk.
All right. And then I asked Memphis. Memphis is the only one coming to our tournament besides me. I asked him on Thursday if he wanted to just play the one game we're supposed to play, or if he wanted to just bang out 3 games. And he's fairly new, so he wanted to get some practice in. So he and I played 3 games on Saturday. Apocalypse for me, all 3 games, obviously. And he had a dual affiliation list that he's been playing. Avengers and Midnight Suns. He played Midnight Suns in the first and third game. Did better with them than the Avengers in the second game. After the tournament, we workshopped. He is going to... he built 3 lists and bought the stuff to fill out 2 of those. So he's got an Avengers list with a bunch of fun stuff in it. And that's probably the list that's not as good as his Midnight Suns list. He just has a Midnight Suns straight list, and that seems to be pretty good. And I think that's what he played against Fred.
It is.
On Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday night.
We played... Memphis and I played an aborted game. We played for about the first 2.5 rounds. And then we were playing while I was in Vampire the Masquerade, our LARP, and something came up, and I was tied up for the rest of the night, so I had to scoop. So Memphis won our game. But, yeah. I cut you off, Brad. Do you have more?
No. I was actually teeing you up to talk right there. I did have one more game. Okay. I played Michael's Hydra list with Apocalypse again because I'm trying to practice for the qualifier next week. And this was a very, very, very close game. But I squeaked it out. He at one point I needed at one turn I needed 2 points to win, and he was really far behind, and he worked his butt off that round, and I only scored 1 point, and he scored a bunch of points, and then at the end of the game, it was like, I don't know. I only won by a couple points by the end. I don't remember the actual score, but it was, I played Imcron a lot during these games, and it's great for Apocalypse.
Ugh, Imcron. Ugh.
It's a good secure. It's
Yeah.
a good.
Yeah,
But it's 50-50 all the time.
No, not if you
actually,
not if you daze or push them.
Oh, well, fair.
but it's a good shape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is good.
Well, it is indeed a good shape. Tom, do you have any games that you've played recently that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I have not had a chance to play very much recently because of the traveling and everything, but I did get my first Inhumans game in since the last tournament, into an APOC player, actually. And it really came down to out deploying, going, I think, 6 wide at 20. And it was a Deadline Scrolls mission. And apparently, I didn't realize this, but Deadline is really good with Terragenesis.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I can see that.
It was very strong.
Okay. Remind me what Deadline is. Is that
Deadline is the truncated D shape, so it's 5 in on the sides. But if you interact with it, a model holding an extract within range 3 can take a damage or drop the extract. So you can tick damage through that and then Terragenesis them.
I see.
So I had a Toad that I got down all the way to 1 without ever attacking him.
Oh, wow. Okay. Neat.
Yeah,
Okay.
eventually, you think your opponent would realize what's going on and drop the
Right?
token.
Right? But he was like, it's a Death Toad, it's fine.
Terragenesis is too scary to let that happen.
It's about the only game I've gotten in recently.
Did you say whether you won or lost?
I Terragenesis.
Okay. That's the answer. Fair. All right. Well, Steven, do you have any games that you've played recently that you would like to talk about?
Negative, sir. I've been dry. I'm going to try to solve that situation here this coming week. So.
Oh, okay then. I hope you get some good games in. So, Tom brought something up that I kind of want to talk about. He brought up the shape of Imcron. We have a plan today to talk about the shapes of the crises and how that affects how we play and what we like to take and what the affiliations are good at and what some affiliations are bad at. I have been having a problem that I play Wakanda, and I have a problem on D-shape extracts. I found that D-shapes are bad for me, and I don't know why. I can't put my finger on what it is about it that doesn't work, but something isn't working for a D-shape for me. And I would like some input from Tom as to just exactly why that is and what I'm doing wrong. Tom, why can't I play good on D-shapes?
Is that D-shape extract or secure?
Extracts.
So I guess my first question is Luke Cage immediately moving up and grabbing which one you can?
I don't have Luke Cage in my roster. Is that my first mistake?
I found out what's wrong. particular to Wakanda, you're looking at a bunch of most of your team is not super fast except for King T, and most of the hitting power in your list is King T. So you want to do two things. I think still opening up. You need to one have someone who's going to be grabbing stuff on the midline that you're okay getting punched because you want to give your opponent that opportunity to fuel King T.
I mean, that's exactly the problem. The problem is that it's King T grabbing the thing, and then King T gets
No,
punched
no, don't do
way
that.
too hard. Yeah, yeah. King
King
T's
T
getting
is
beat up.
yeah, he's your last activation, bud. He's got to be held because so he is your mobile piece who's also doing the work. He's your displacement piece for a lot of it. I mean, yes, M'Baku can do it as well, or I don't know who else you have on the list, but you need him to really target where you need at the end of the round
Okay.
because his counter strike is not what you're trying to build off of, his attack damage with. You're really trying to get him into it, and your opponents are going to attack him, but you want them to attack your other models.
Right.
So
I want him to be out of range of everybody until he dives in, stabs someone, uses the spender, and then runs away again.
Could be, or you just murdered them. Yes.
Or I just kill them.
Yeah, it sounds like the biggest issue is I don't know. You're taking 5 of your threat and double moving round 1 and not applying any pressure.
Okay. So, should I avoid D-shaped extracts in what I'm playing, or is that just something that can be corrected by proper play?
I think Ds are probably fine. It really depends on what your goal is. I mean, Wakanda seems like a list that wants fewer extracts on the table because you want to be able to leverage your attrition advantage. And you still want things on the midline because you want to be able to move King T once and get at least one attack that activation. I would say your bigger issue is not having the right models to activate first that you feel confident won't die. Or if they do die, they're dying too quickly and not powering King T in a way that you're looking for.
Right. That's why Luke Cage is such an important model to bring, because he's tough enough and cheap enough. Like, he's cheap. I can throw him out there, and I don't care that much if they take out a 3 threat, and it'll probably take 2 or even 3 attacks for them to take him out, in which case every single one of those attacks is going to charge King T.
Correct. And the big thing with Luke Cage, and there's probably other models to use that are good. You throw a mummy up there or something, but I think the general rule of thumb is you still want a heroes for hire target or carrier for King T because he's such a fragile model that them being able to isolate him and take him down quickly would be a problem.
Okay. So, I mean, on a broader sense, you brought up Mcron crystals being a good shape earlier. Why do you think Mcron is a good shape? Just for you.
So, it's not that I think Mcron is a good shape for me. I think Mcron's a very interesting shape currently because it is probably one of the tightest secures you can have that has a fight to it that still has mobility. So one of the topics I think it's interesting in when you're talking about shapes is understanding your base sizes and the length of your movement sticks to understand where all these models on the table can go. And Mcron has one of the most interesting arrangements for both medium base and medium move models, as well as long moving small models. Because there's just so many ways to interact with the other points quickly during the first turns, or with charging models to get onto those points and still have 2 actions on the second turn, that you really open up a ton of play possibilities on that one. It's a very interesting shape.
I have seen this a lot with my Apocalypse list, which is why I like playing this scenario. So I have a lot of medium bases, but Apocalypse is a very good example of this. It is not uncommon for me to Famine teleport Apocalypse up. He can interact with the near one if he needs to, if someone else hasn't done it. Then I can move him onto the opponent's one, make an attack, and flip theirs.
Yeah, it's a very strong, I think.
Yeah, Sorry, and he can teleport. He and Famine teleport from one to another as well throughout the game. So like,
Yeah, and your range bands are fantastic there.
yeah, the range 3 I can touch a different one with him and my other models as well. Like Blob has a hard time with his short move and his range 2 attacks, but everyone else is like fine, loves it.
But that being said, it's difficult for your opponent if you position your blob aggressively. You probably want to maintain at least one power on him so he's not your interactor if you can help it. But he can maintain his range 3 to bounce your opponents off with his tickles. You know what I mean? Like it's just an interesting shape in that you've got several models. So Apocalypse is a great one because you get a lot of bunching in that scenario. So you have Pestilence models that are strong on it. A model that I think really shines on Mcron is, say, Midnight Suns, the original Doctor Strange. His range bands are phenomenal on Mcron, and his ability to boost really covers just about everything you need.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Oh, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Mcron has become like the mixture of an old E for a gun line, but maintaining the movement of a better scenario because E's suck. But it gives you that variety of gameplay that I think is interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it when I was playing Web Warriors. Mcron was fun to play on with Amazing Spider-Man because he could touch. I think the thing is if he starts on an Mcron, he can touch every single Mcron on his activation.
Yes.
Like he can go and interact with every single one. And that is an interesting place to be in a scenario layout.
Yeah, but the thing about specifically Mcron, because to your point, yes, you can hit every one of those points, but it maintains the range bands for your opponent as well, because you have to be aggressively diving points to flip them. Therefore, they're still in range. If they're an attrition list, they can try to capitalize on their ability too. I find it to be a scenario that's very interesting on both sides of the equation.
It's both an attrition and a scenario place.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. What would you rather have on that? Would you rather have an attrition-focused roster on Mcron, or would you rather have a scenario-focused?
I think the actual scenario leans a little more attrition, but I think I mentioned it previously. I would rather never roll dice if I have to. I'm a crisis player.
Good. Okay.
Apocalypse does a little bit of both.
He does,
which is great.
Yeah, he doesn't have to choose.
This one, like, without ease in the game, this is one of the ones that I'd say feels close. So
agreed.
Yeah, we do still have an E. We have Montesi.
That doesn't count.
It's extract shape is different than a secure shape.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Fred was talking about not liking D extracts, and I was sitting here thinking, I don't even think about the shape of the extract most of the time. The only thing I think about is their center line crabs. That's the only thing I care about. Anyway, but this one, Mayor Fisk, Intrusions, and maybe Deadline. I think that's the only ones that feel close to me.
So for those of you listening, Mayor Fisk is the one that is very close to the center, secures. Deadline is a diamond shape, but it's not as far apart as the D's. It's more equidistant. And what was the other one you said?
Intrusions.
That's 3 across the center line.
You also have Wedding Party, which is take the middle one out.
Wedding Party, I would put in the same category as like a Mutant Madman or a Infinity Formula, where it breaks up into 2 fights.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least early game. Now those can crawl closer together, but they don't start that close together. So I have the ones I think of as close brawls, and then the two different fights, and then something like a D is just real spread out. And it seems like we have a pretty good mixture of those. I don't know where to put superpowered scoundrels.
Pro Scoundrels is basically a D with more points, or it's a B with more points, right? Because it's actually closer in than a B, because it's the
It
that shape.
is. That's
So like medium moves can move between the center
Yeah.
line and the individual points very very quickly, and you can rotate with a double long from corner to corner.
right. So it's close enough that it doesn't break up into two fights, especially with that middle point, but it's not quite as close as the other ones. Is but like I found like I looked at my stats in Apocalypse. I've been doing well in Superpowered Scoundrels, so I actually rotated it in over Mayor Fisk because I was losing bad in Mayor Fisk, and I will
Turns
follow
out
the map.
Apocalypse getting cover is actually a good thing.
Yeah,
It's very
well,
rare
yeah,
for you to
yeah.
get cover.
Yeah, that's true. And just the nearness of getting from point to point helped him out a lot. Whereas the Mayor Fisk, like anything that did attrition harder than me, just wrecked me. Like,
Yeah, and I think that's actually a good thing to bring up. So you particularly played an Apocalypse Crisis setup that I thought was very interesting previously, because you were running Fisk, which a lot of people avoid who play Apocalypse because of the low point value and it being more fighty, but you like to punch things. What else was in your list at the time? Intrusions, so you can move Apocalypse around.
yes, and Mcron.
Mcron.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get the Mcron one obviously,
Yeah.
but you definitely were looking for the ability to prevent yourself from having to walk very often
Yes.
with a lot of your models, because you don't have a ton of charging models in your affiliation.
Yeah.
Though you do have Famine and like a Psylocke. But I
Who
can see
is
where you're
often
really trying to
Famine.
max. Right, you're trying to maximize the amount of times that you can roll dice into people.
Yes.
To utilize that ability. Myself, I tend to stick with like D shapes. I go with a lot of like more spread out crises because I want to isolate individual battlefronts and win on those, and then use high mobility to move around them. Or I'm a big fan of using that spread out technique with longer movers, so that I can consolidate extracts into one area.
So that's the objective play style of playing this game.
Yeah, and I will tell you the scariest opponents I run into are the opponents who play hard attrition, and on the spread secure, they abandon their points first because they understand the timeline of the game better than someone who goes, well, I got to stick a 3 over here and a 2 over here to make sure I still score out. That is not how you win hard attrition on a spread secure.
Okay, this is important information. So what you're saying is if I'm trying to outfight my opponent, I should maximize my attacks against them, as in throw my guys against where they are defending.
Yeah, so I think one of the things people think in this game is they look at the whole table and they go, I got to play this whole table because that's where all the stuff is. And if you're playing a hard attrition list that is going to lose the mobility game, you know you're going to lose the mobility and rotational game, then you shouldn't be playing the mobility and rotational game. You should be focusing your fire down to eliminate enough models while maintaining, not say a VP parity, but a minimal down, that you can, at the end, once your attrition has come through, prevent your opponent from scoring out before you. Versus just kind of like playing passively with half your models and then playing aggressively with the other half. Because that just doesn't work as well.
Okay. I this is very good information for me, because this is obviously something that I have fallen into the trap of. I tend to get over focused on the wrong thing when I'm playing this game.
No,
And
Fred gets
uh,
tunnel vision. This is a shock to everybody who's ever played
yeah,
him.
this is a well documented fact that Fred gets tunnel vision. I will definitely fall into the habit of making the same mistakes over and over, trying to get an outcome that is very unlikely. But that is my own problem. Uh, let's. What is uh, a secure layout that you think is really spread out the best way to play a um, objective based game? Is that what you want to like force your opponent who might be trying to out attrition you into having to make that decision and maybe
You're-
making the wrong decision?
Yeah, so if you're playing, I mean, it's almost self-explanatory, right? If they can't attack you, they can't kill you, right? So if
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
to move and get to you, then they have to go there. So one of the things I think it sounds like Fred, I would recommend you think about is if you look at the table and just split the table however you want into quadrants or six pieces or whatever it is, count the number of VPs in that area and count the threat you have versus your opponent. And if you continually are sticking in small VP areas with a majority of your threat, something's gone wrong.
Okay, okay. That's a good way to look at it, and that will help me in the future.
Because if you can rotate those killer pieces, like King T is your movement piece to kill something, right? And he's also your one of your best control pieces because he can pull people in to your team for your Wakanda Forever turns. So like balancing where he is versus the majority of the VPs on the table could be a huge way to capitalize on the fact that you have a Wakanda Forever term that can turn like one activation into three, depending on who else you get there, and minimize the amount you have to rotate, and then you just take it all and run away.
Okay, okay. Good information. Okay, so what is another shape that you would like to talk about here while we're discussing this? Is there?
Well, I think so. Similar to like breaking up the battlefield into where your threat versus VPs are, and isolating out the extracts and the VPs of the secures that you can control. I think it's really important to understand how hard it is to rotate on a B. And I think Brad, this is what you were kind of
Yes,
talking about with
yeah.
the lanes of battle.
Yeah.
It is really easy to lose a B on deployment, and that is where you set up your models and you say, I'm going to go to the left and these are going to go on the right, and you don't have any way to cross that battlefield once you need to.
Yeah, that I have definitely been there. I've been where I need to get my guy from the left side to the right side, and there is just no way to do it.
There's
And I think
I lose a round of them just crossing the middle of the battlefield.
right. Brad, it sounds like you were saying
yeah.
something.
I was just gonna say there aren't a lot of models in the game even now that are actually good at moving across that no man's land to switch sides. Like the best one, the one I thought of immediately is Ghost Rider, because he can do it without an action with a long move and a medium base and be clear on the other side.
Large base.
Yeah,
Large
large
base,
base.
sorry.
Long
can
move,
he-
large base. Yeah, sorry.
I think it still takes him a move and that though.
It depends on where he's sitting. If he is like on the side of the B where he's close, I think he gets at least in the fight, if not on the point.
Right. And I think one thing people forget about because they're building the plans in their lists is you think about the way your stuff works on your crises and secures, mostly secures. So that's the important one for your understanding your movement, and you don't have a plan for when they get their secures. And if you don't have those flex models, you have auto losses at setup.
So what would be a solution? Is the solution Ghost Rider, or is there a let's say I'm playing Wakanda. I guess Wakanda actually does have some pretty good mobility options.
We have
in
King T.
cross.
And trust me when I say any one of my locals will laugh if you say if the solution is Ghost Rider, because I am a known Ghost Rider hater. Sorry, Steve.
Oh,
I am not a fan of that model. But so you're crossing models King T, who's also your primary powerhouse hitter, and that's a good model to be able to rotate. But there's a lot of other models in the game that give you that mobility or can help you accentuate it. So in my own list, I'm a big Lockjaw user, and I use Lockjaw in more than just Inhumans because specifically for bees, I find that he's one of the only models in the game that can help your team actually rotate well. Um, he's great for like a Midnight Suns trying to rotate if you can, because them being able to place and then bump gets most of them one move away from the other side. Um, Double long movers. So I've got Black Cat in my list in most lists I run. Also, turns out because of her ability to double long move and place two, those are both really great ways that you can actually rotate around the board. Um, it's one of those things that if you aren't thinking about it, a good opponent will take the extra advantage to one side, win that side, and you'll spend half the game just moving to try to chase them.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's the important part of having long movers.
having mobility, even or action compression, people who can charge.
Right. Which is,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason Zemo is the perennial 3 is because he's a long move charging model.
That gives everyone a reroll and can reroll any himself.
Oh, sure, he's real
Yeah,
good.
he's really
And he has
good.
counterattack.
But I think the reason he's taken is because he can chase things and he can rotate, and those are things you want out of models like that. Like if you're going to splash something into to shore up a weakness of what your model choice and your affiliation is, that's the kind of model you splash because it's hard to replicate that for most affiliations inside their own affiliation, and so you don't want to lose those spread out fights in the same way that a lot of Web Warriors lists prior to the Crisis rotation, you had to have a plan for demons, and it was mostly don't stand on demons and try to get enough extracts to not stand on them. But that was an uphill fight because you didn't really have anything that could stand on the midline and tank and anything like that.
I was playing Web Warriors when they got rid of demons, and my win percentage went up noticeably when that happened.
I am sure.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised Steven didn't comment more when we were talking about the scoundrels in Crisis Shape, because as a foes player, he knows very well that like all of the movement on scoundrels is great for foes.
oh gosh, yes. So, you mean the movement on scoundrels?
Yeah, just because everything's like a medium base, medium move away from each other, and then you have all your overlapping traps.
Yeah, I was going to say if you don't have access to long movers, medium base, medium move is the second best choice. So, and the spider foes are particularly spoiled for that. So,
Spider foes did just get access to a long mover.
yeah, it would have been crazy because everybody's like, "Is he on a medium base?" And it's like, no.
No.
That was me. I wanted it to be the case. That would have been so good. But I think it was Tom who pointed out that that's kind of reserved to a 5-threat zone because that's a safe grab.
Yeah, AMD has decided that is how much that costs.
Yeah.
Tom, I do have a question for you about your play style, so on and so forth. On these scenarios and on these shapes, do you have any concerns, specifically with me being the way I am, about anti-scenario teams, which is what I would call something like spider foes?
If I'd call them anti-scenario, I think most of the descriptions I hear call them mid-range because they kind of play well at both. I think foes are just a really interesting bag of stuff. I mean, from a model perspective, your model quality is just a little statted above in every category, and yet your action compression is usually not that great. It's a fascinating way they've designed foes. I don't quite understand it, but you have a huge access to displacement. All your dudes are just beefier or have just extra defense dice, which I think is interesting. But you're really limited outside like Rhino on having your ability to rotate and everything well. So I think foes are just good, but I don't know if I would call them anti-scenario. I mean, you've got literally one of the best scenario pieces I think in the game in Rhino.
Well, I'm talking more anti-scenario in the fact that you have access to sinister traps. You have access to well-laid plans. Um, other stuff like Venom
Oh,
with
sure.
his pulls and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think foes have an amazing toolkit to disrupt um, high crisis playing lists. I mean, that's why they fight web warriors, right? That's a tough matchup for web warriors, so the foes player is really focusing on it. Uh, I think the biggest issue with them is they still, with all that being said, lack a good way to cross the board outside of Rhino. And maybe that's what Prowler is going to give them in this new set.
yeah, possibly. Well,
Because I think,
time will tell.
well, and you probably have experienced this, when your opponent is scoring out and running to all corners with extracts, it is really difficult to have enough foes models chasing them to secure the extracts back before they score out if you've lost an early lead, which is literally why Rhino is so integral to a lot of those plans.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. And that's why I usually try to hold well-laid plans until later, if that scenario does happen, because it's kind of like okay, I get out of jail free card at that point in time. Or
Fair enough.
Magic's a good chaser too. I have her on my list as my splash. So
Yeah, I think if you're a well-laid plans user, you're going to catch a lot of people out because it's such a rare card to see. But you're right. If you get the opportunity to hit 3-4 models with that in a turn, on that last activation of your turn, it's game breaking.
Mm-hmm. So no, I just wanted to know what your opinions. Like I said, I know people call them mid-range. I tend to call them anti-scenario because they're playing against somebody who's trying to score out quickly. So
that's fair.
Okay. Let's continue this conversation about shapes of crises with the person that we are here to cover today. That person being Silk, otherwise known as Cindy Moon. Her defensives are 4 physical, 3 energy, and 3 mystic. She has 6 stamina on both. Oh, nope, 6 stamina on her front and 5 stamina on her backside. She has a threat value of 4, a size 2, and a long mover. Hey, Brad, why don't you cover her attack suite?
All right, first, Fred, a little trivia. I know how much you love these. Who is Silk's dad?
Who is Silk's dad?
Yes.
Moon.
Warren Moon.
Dr. Moon. I don't even remember his first name. Anyway, her first attack is physical spider strike, range 3, 5 dice, cost 0, gain power for the damage dealt, wild push after attack is resolved if the defender is size 2 or less. This character may push it short. That doesn't have a direction. Physical fingertip spinnerets, beam 3, 5 dice, cost 0, gain a power, wild slow after the attack is resolved, and physical the spectacular spinning Jenny, area 2, 7 dice, cost 5. After each attack is resolved, the defender is pushed towards this character short. After all attacks generated by this attack have been resolved, place this character within 3 of itself.
Okay, Steven, why don't you do the next 2 superpowers?
All right, we have Caught in the Web. It is a reactive superpower. It will cost you 2 power when an enemy character ends a movement. This is any movement. Throw, push, place. Within 3 of this character may use this superpower. Roll 4 dice. The enemy character suffers 1 damage for each crit and wild result rolled. Then, if the superpower dealt 1 or more damage, this character may advance short. And then we have an innate Silk Sense. When this character is defending against an attack or making a dodge roll, it may reroll up to 2 of its defense or dodge dice including skull results.
Okay, and oh my goodness gracious, Tom. Oh boy, I just forgot your name. I'm so
It's
sorry.
cool. No worries.
Tom,
man.
why don't you finish out the card?
Sure. She's got Web of the Bride. When an enemy character with a slow special condition ends a movement within 3 of this character gains 1 power, and she's a wall crawler.
Okay, that is Silk. So, Tom, you specifically requested that you were on this episode. I would like to hear why. What is it about Silk that really is attractive to you and to your playstyle?
Yeah. So I think that people underestimate number 1, the slow condition, and number 2, how effective it is to have not just a long moving model, but a long moving model with displacement. These are pretty rare things outside of Web Warriors. And she came around and is like, hey, I'll also be the best traps model in the game. How's that work? So when you're talking about the scenario shapes, she's got a couple cool things on her card. So she's a long mover, obviously. But what you wouldn't think about is that her long move plus range 3 basic attack basically hits, the opposing Mcron or the other side B with her first move, and has like a 50-something% chance to pull the model off of it. So she's just a very effective scenario piece from the get-go, in terms of rotating around the battlefield as a long mover, but then has that little bit of displacement to her, and then screws up their ability to rotate around the battlefield because she's got so much access to slow with a beam. And it's a lot in one package. The bigger thing for me on her card is she kind of is maybe the best extract diver outside of like Abomination, because she's a long moving model with 4/3/3 defenses, reroll 2, reroll skulls. That also, when you're interacting with her, she's got a good chance to walk away from you. It's like her traps is 40-something% chance to trigger. So her ability to slow models down, dive, run away from them, and then make them less effective, I think is a really strong package. And what we saw with this wave of releases is AMG is understanding that action compression is the thing that everyone's looking for in this game. Well, that's usually charges, or some sort of placement effects, both of which she can then move out of potentially while still doing damage to the other models. It's a lot for one package.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Her traps, I think they are functionally either very similar or the exact same to Mysterio's traps.
Just cheaper. They're actually
cheaper. Mysterio's is 3.
Traps. Yeah.
And Mysterio is a slow mover, while this is a long mover. So, yeah, just the sheer mobility that she brings, and the ability to hop free if they move close to her, is really cool. Like, you are correct. This is a very neat model.
I think this is the same. Sorry, this is the same trap on Cassandra too, right?
Yes, it's Cassandra Nova's trap,
but on a better model,
and a model that generates power in different ways, right? That the fact that anytime they move near her, if they're slowed, she gets a power. When you combine that with her spender, it means you could fuel probably 2 spenders if you do it correctly. Which, because you can fuel a spender, move, teleport 3, and then do another spender, and then teleport 3, like, that's a ton of displacement opportunity that you just don't see on a model usually.
Brad, what do you think about Silk? About what she's bringing to the table?
I can't compete with Tom. Tom's thought a lot about this, but I have thought about something fun, because I'm always thinking about X-Men. Her timing window for her traps and the gain power thing is the same timing as Iceman. So if she buddies up with Iceman, if they place within 2 of Iceman and within 3 of her, he can give them slow first. She can then gain a power to then trap them. You can stack them in the right order to make all of that work. And that sounds like fun. That sounds like a good reason to play her with X-Man. And she's a long mover. Like, they love that.
I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
think-
more likely that someone's playing Iceman with Web Warriors.
No.
I think it's interesting. I think there's people who are going to try her out in some areas. Like I could see defenders for her. You've got access to say Iceman. I think he's a defender as well. You've also got Hawkeye, who's slowing people at range 5,
Ooh,
and just
yeah.
ruining their day into her. There's a lot of affiliations, a lot of models that have access to the ability to apply slow that I don't think we usually think about. Because the individual affiliations, other than Web Warriors and APOC, probably, they don't really rely on that condition the way that those two affiliations do. And so, like, the way those affiliations rely on slow, so Web Warriors specifically because of Ada all webbed up, Silk obviously is strongest there. But I think there's a lot of niches for her that people could try to experiment with. Her ability to dive on an extract, you position her in the center of the board beginning of the game, and she could double move and grab an opponent's F. She probably survives a turn. You know what I mean? I mean, she's 4/3/3 reroll 2, including skulls, without having a skull unlock.
Yeah. She's got really good defenses. That is a very strong defense. And she's not weak against Mystic, which is kind of the thing you have to watch out for with some of the lower point cost Web Warriors, is that they're weaker against Mystic defense.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I'm not going to run her in front of something that can automatically murder her, but you look at the table and you might be able to pull something off. I mean, she's got a really cool kit. And then once you power her up and she takes a couple damage, if they try to run into her, she tries to run away.
Yeah. Let's not fail to bring up the connection between Silk and Amazing Spider-Man's leadership. Like the Amazing Spider-Man leadership, I think the stock goes up substantially with the new releases, and especially because of Silk. Because Silk wants to be able to interact with slow people. She wants more and more slow people to be around her. And that is easier to accomplish when all you need to do is spend 1 power and they are slow.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Actually-
Steven. Oh,
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
When I
Go ahead.
played Andrew the other day, he did not play Silk. He also never plays slow on a model with the leadership. Let me finish that. He never, and my entire team was slow the entire game. He never had to use the leadership to slow anyone and was not playing Silk. Imagine how good that would have been if he was playing Silk.
I mean, yeah.
Everyone was slow the entire game.
Was it who was giving out the silk? The silk. Who was giving out the slow?
New Miles and maybe 2099 and Ham, I think, also gives. Ham and
He does.
Ultimate,
Ham.
I know, do. So
I don't remember off the top of my head what
I
a
don't remember
2099
if
does.
2099 does, but pretty much everyone was slow. And then of course there was a all upped up in there at some point.
Yeah, obviously. Steven, what are your thoughts here? We've been talking a lot and we haven't heard from you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I know everybody's excited about her. I would say she's got a very interesting kit. I take Tom's points very, very seriously and how she could work, but in my experience, I'll just have to see, because I can see a little bit of the Matrix, but I don't have the whole program in front of me right now. So, but she's very much a different type of play style that she'll bring to webs, because her placement is often attack and not just using it as a superpower. So I mean, but she still long moves after that. So we'll see. We'll see.
I do think she's a model you don't just throw in if she's your only source of slow. You want her to have access to her compatriots, great, like throwing slow out there and making it part of your game plan. I mean, yes, she has a slow beam, but that is probably not enough without, let's say, a leadership or other models applying it to generate the power she wants. Because I mean, that Spender's 5 power. The thing is, it literally hits. It's an area 2, but it also moves every model it hits, giving her access to potentially more power if they're slowed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so wild. That's such a wild thing that she can power herself up for another spender from using the spender.
Yeah. The Masked Menace tactic card, where you gain a power every time you do damage. I mean, with her, it becomes ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And the timing step too is kind of interesting, because as you're pulling them all towards you, each one's resolved individually, which you then do your trap, so you're moving, which means you're moving other models towards you every single time after you've already moved, and then by the end of all your movement train, you get a place 3.
and let's not gloss it. Right. Let's also not gloss over the fact that she can do amazing damage on the all webbed up turn. Like, when all webbed up happens, she's got a beam 3 that's doing 7 dice to people who are slowed, and an area 2 that's doing, oh crap, I moved away from her. Is it 9? Would it be 9?
It would be 9.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah. An area 2 doing 9 damage. That is going to kill every model it won't kill every model, but it'll harm them.
I've played against enough bishops that I know that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I am aboard I'm on the train with hoping that they rotate out all webbed up with these releases, because I do think it's a lot.
Well, it seems like there's at least going to be some time that these models are out before they get to the mini extravaganza and maybe release an errata.
Could be,
because they did.
I do think
they did all the document updates already,
right,
for them.
But I definitely have a fear that if all webbed up is in its current form, that's a strong release for Web Warriors. And it's the kind of thing that is going to be very difficult to play around, because it's an automatic effect with all webbed up.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of tactics cards, Silk does bring a tactics card to the game. It is called Spider Totem the Bride. It is an unaffiliated reactive tactics card. During the power phase, Silk may spend 2 power to play this card until the next cleanup phase. When Silk targets an enemy character with an attack, she may change the attack type to Mystic. Once this round, before the cleanup phase, when this character or another allied character is attacking or defending during the modified dice step, that character may re-roll all of its attack or defense dice. This is interesting. It gives Web Warriors access to some Mystic attacks, which is something they sorely lack. And there's a once per round reroll during the modified dice for anyone, when this character or another allied character is attacking or defending. So it's just a half recalibration once this round that this unlocks, which is neat. Do you think this card is worth taking? Tom, do you think this card is worth taking?
The only thing I see it being valuable for, potentially, is if there becomes a strong schism in the Web Warriors spheres, where you have like a lot of people still playing old models and a bunch of models vulnerable to Mystic, because I don't think this is a very good card otherwise.
Yeah. It's it is. It's not expensive, but it's taking up a slot, which Web Warriors have some very good cards, and this effect is not that great. It's not that great. I mean, a half recalibration is nice. And
That
being able
you
to trigger it whenever you want it is
that
nice.
yeah, you pick what turn first.
Yeah, you're calling the shot. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Like, I like the idea that you are not necessarily spending the model's power to do it. It's just out there, but like for all you know, you don't need it that round, and you just have some 2 mystic attacks or maybe a beam of mystic. I just don't. I don't know.
Okay. What do you think about it, Brad? What are your thoughts?
I think that Web Warriors cards are so good they might have to consider whether they even want to play restricted cards or not. They're not going to play this card.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. Steven, I want to let you speak on this card.
Well, I'm on Brad's camp. They have riches beyond compare. So they are spoiled.
Well,
That's all
we're
there is
getting
to it.
to a point in this game. We're getting to a point where most affiliations have a ton of great options available to them.
Yeah, and then there's Winter Guard.
And then there's yeah.
I would love for them to get a release like this. You know, they get 4 new models that are all great.
I don't know that there's 4 Winter Guard that are already in the game, but sure.
I know.
Oh, dude.
I know there's 2 that need to come into the game, and it would be it would be chaotic. That's for sure.
Perun and Shutterbog.
Yeah, at least a 5 and 6 threat, if that. So.
Yeah.
In case you don't know, who is it? Perrin is the Thor copy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Slavic god of thunder and lightning, I think it was.
There's Volstagg also, and he's like a colossus, and then the one guy is like a demon. So
Shout from the bog. Night on Bald
Yeah.
Mountain, man.
I've never heard of these characters before in my life.
Oh, Fred.
All right, we need to give Silk a letter grade. So as we've discussed, she brings a lot to the table for the Web Warriors. I think that Tom made a compelling point that Silk is splashable outside of her affiliation, which is rare these days, but it's definitely true. I'm gonna give her a solid A, and then I'm gonna mute myself because there is a train passing.
Tom, go ahead.
You know, I really like this character. I don't think anyone understands where Web Warriors are about to be because there's so much releasing at one time. I think she's got some interesting splash opportunities. I don't think she's like a top tier splash by any means because Shang-Chi exists. But in a world without Shang-Chi, I think she's fantastic. But in a world where Shang-Chi still exists in its current form, I would say she's probably a solid B.
Fair.
Okay.
How about you, Brad? Where are you gonna put Silk?
I think she's pretty good. I'd say B plus. B plus. Her tech's good. She does need some support to really shine, though, as I think Tom mentioned earlier. You want other models to give out slow so that she can do all the things she wants to do.
Okay, and Steven, what are your thoughts here?
I like traps, so I'm a B plus. I'm a B plus.
That's the foe. That's the foe talking.
Traps for the win.
Actually, I have a quick question. Would you put her in a foes list?
Who am I replacing? That's the question.
It's a good question, but I think because I mean, like, you've got a couple of abilities to put slow on, but they're usually locked behind spenders.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, more traps is more traps.
Correct. I think you would definitely think about. Well, you have to think about Lizard at that point in time because his spender does put out slow. So, but I think that's the only person that does put out slow, if I'm correct. Um,
Think about that. I thought there was a couple.
It's not one of the
no,
ones Goblin can give.
no, he gives bleed, poison, and
Incinerate.
incinerate. Yeah.
Ooh, Incinerate's a good one. Okay.
So I think she doesn't go into goblin foes, but I think she's really good in Doc Ock foes.
Yeah, the extra power gain.
Well, no. So if somebody tries to slow her, also.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the power gain also would be um, very, uh, very helpful to her. Um, but foes got a smattering of things that they put out. But yeah, I think if you're running a trap list and you're thinking about Doc Ock, I think she goes very, very well. Um, and I would, I would even think about, if you had the points and you had the room, pairing her up with Electro and Mysterio to do their things, and so that leaves you at 15. If you're at 20, maybe a Cassandra Nova or Kingpin, not Kingpin,
Shadow King.
Shadow King, because his is different because he doesn't move; he moves somebody else when he does that damage, and that can be very, very helpful.
Just expensive. So expensive.
It is. It is. I understand that, um, but no, she can work wonders. I think in Doc Ock. I don't see her quite fitting in Goblin though. So
Fair.
Okay. Well, that's our take on Silk. She seems very cool. Brad, do you want me to skip this one?
No,
Brad,
I
do you
got
have
it.
any comic
I
books?
got it.
You got it?
Fred.
Okay. All right.
Why do you think
do you have any comic book?
Why do you think I said I needed a minute before the podcast? I was almost there.
Okay.
I was almost there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to recommend is Amazing Spider-Man 1 and onward from 2014. They've rebooted this series a couple times. This is Dan Slott and Humberto Ramos. This is Silk's first appearance. She's in Shadow until issue 4. And then Peter Parker, he gets a vision that some girl was bitten by the same radioactive spider after him, and he hunts her down and saves her and figures out what happened to her and all that stuff. And they are very connected and attracted to each other and cannot keep their hands off of each other. So
So the same. So has she just been sitting?
She's been in a lab
in the
being experimented
and secretly have spider powers.
Yeah, she's been experimented on in a lab, in a cage.
Okay.
And
I was gonna ask, if this was the same spider, then it was a month after he was bit, because spiders don't live very long.
it was literally right after.
Okay.
It bit him, and then it crawled over and it bit her.
All right.
But he didn't know
That's
about
some
it.
solid writing. That's some solid writing.
He did not know about it until he was exposed to the Eye of the Watcher and saw what had happened. This is part of Original Sin. This is the event where a bunch of heroes find out about sins from their past that they did not know about. And this was the sin from Peter's past, is that there is this girl that's locked up because she has spider powers that he didn't know about.
I'm just, who locked her up? Out of curiosity.
Oh shoot, I didn't write down what scientist it was.
Because it's a scientist who's what's up with this spider power? Meanwhile, Spider-Man is plastered all over the news, and
she has.
I don't know. Actually,
she has slightly different powers than him. So
okay.
For example, her webs are organic. She doesn't have a web shooter. She can just shoot the webs. from her hands.
Okay.
Like movie Spider-Man.
I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it does make total sense. If I was a villain scientist and I had the opportunity to do experiments on someone who had Spider-Man's powers, I would immediately take that opportunity.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then shortly after this, Silk gets her own series called Silk in 2015. Writer Robbie Thompson, and it ran for 19 issues. So there's actually several artists that worked on this, but it focuses on her and how she is becoming a part of the world because she's been locked up for years, and whether she's going to use her powers for good or for ill. Maybe
being locked up for years will do that to a body.
Maybe she accidentally robs a bank because she needs rent money or something. I don't know. Yeah, she's probably not fully okay in the head after that.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Is that is it just 2? Was it just 2?
Yeah, it's just 2 this week. There are other series with Silk after this. She gets a mini series every once in a while, 4 to 5 issues. But this one was like pretty long running. 19 issues is just over a year and a half of comics. So
okay.
She got a nice little run there.
All right. Well, thank you, Brad, for bringing up the comics that Silk is in. And the only thing that's left for this episode is my non sequitur recommendation. So I know nothing about Silk. I knew nothing about Silk before this occurred. And has she ever been portrayed in any movie?
Yeah.
Or I don't think so. Not one that I've seen.
Yeah, she's absolutely in stuff.
Well, okay. I haven't seen it.
Let's see. In Spider-Man Homecoming, she is played by Tiffany Espenson.
Wait, she's in Spider-Man Homecoming?
Yeah. Well, Cindy Moon is. She didn't have.
Okay.
She doesn't have Spider-Man
All
powers.
right. I see what's happening. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I knew nothing about this character, so all that I brought today, I brought a movie that I watched recently. I rewatched it this past month, and I really love it. It's a classic horror movie. It is Rosemary's Baby.
Nice.
This movie, it holds up with its sense of mounting dread and discomfort at what's going on to a happily married couple who are expecting a baby, who move into this new condo in New York and meet their neighbors. And their neighbors seem lovely, but all this weird stuff starts happening, and Mia Farrow starts looking absolutely terrible and feeling miserable with this baby that's growing inside of her stomach. And I don't know if people know about this movie. I can spoil it. This is a movie from 1968, I think. So if you haven't seen it yet, you should know Rosemary's Baby is the devil, or is the Antichrist. And
oh God, Fred, you spoiled it.
The way that this movie just sort of grows and makes you feel like your skin it doesn't sit right on your bones. It's so uncomfortable. I love this movie. This movie is a classic for a reason. I highly recommend that people watch it.
Good call out. I mean, if you like Hereditary, I'm a big fan.
I love Hereditary.
This is
I
what
thought
made
it was
that movie.
amazing. Yeah.
If you can stay off your phone while watching this movie, it's way better. Similar to
absolutely.
To your point, Polanski's building dread in this is pretty masterful, but it's really hard to pick up on that if you're not actually watching.
Yeah.
Right. That's the modern threat, right? Is if you're watching at home, half the time you're just glancing at your phone during movies, and I did not have that problem with this movie. I do like kind of slower paced movies, and a lot of the older movies are like that. But that's also a threat if you'll find yourself reaching for your phone very frequently, and you miss out on what is being created, the whole mood of the thing. So
Cool, man. I have to note, have you seen Exorcist 3?
yes.
Yeah.
I saw it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do like The Exorcist 3 quite a bit. It does. It has that the lady crawling on the ceiling bit.
I just
Which
think of for the building terror. I mean, the hospital hallway scene. I think is one of the best that's ever been filmed.
Yes. The Exorcist movies hold up. Talking about old horror.
Fred.
I mean, to be fair, 3 is pretty ridiculous.
3 still has some of the scariest bits. Like, you're
does.
correct. It's silly. There's some silly sequences.
There's some very silly sequences, but you can see George C. Scott talk about a fish.
Fred, this is the second podcast I've listened to this week that has talked about Rosemary's Baby.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the other one?
I'm not gonna recommend other podcasts.
Okay.
Listen
fair.
to ours. It's not an MCP podcast, but I'm just not gonna recommend other podcasts. Listen to ours.
Yeah, it's a great movie. People should be watching it. This is a classic case of separate the art from the artist, because Roman Polanski is a terrible human being who is.
God, it's like I'm listening to that other podcast.
He's just a terrible human being, but he made some fantastic movies. Like, he made Chinatown and he made Rosemary's Baby. So, I do think that this is worth watching for those of you out there. And with that, I am going to end this show. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you specifically to Tom for joining us on this episode to talk about Silk. And thank you, Brad and Steven, for being here. And thank you, everyone out there, for listening to us talk. I hope that you all have wonderful games of MCP, and you have a good rest of the week. Goodbye.